Hi, 7th graders. We are on lesson 410, which starts on page 236 in your textbook. The learning target is solving problems involving scale drawings and models. So a scale drawing or a scale model is used to represent an object that is too large or too small to be drawn or built at actual size. So if you think of a map obviously is not built or drawn to size or drawn to scale. So the scale is the ratio of the length on the drawing or the model to its actual length. So for example, if the key or if a model is 1 inch equals 4 feet, then that means that 1 inch represents an actual distance of 4 feet. 1 to 30 would be 1 unit, since we're not given units, represents an actual distance of 30 units. So here's a scale drawing of a map. So if we want to use the map to find the actual distance between Grenada, Mississippi, I don't know if that's how you say it, and Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay? And we are told right here that 1 centimeter equals 50 kilometers. So if we measure out 1 centimeter, we know that as we're driving on the road, that we will have gone 50 kilometers. Okay? So we can set this up as a proportion. And we are already told, though, that the distance between Little Rock and Grenada is about 5.2 centimeters. So the way that we set it up as a proportion is we take our key that we're given. So 1 centimeter equals 50 kilometers. And notice that's that's on the scale. That's our scale, or that's our scale factor or scale model. And then the actual distance, and we line it up. So on the map, it's 1 centimeter, and in the real world, it's 50 kilometers. On the map, the distance is 5.2 centimeters, and in the real world, it is X kilometers, which we're trying to figure out. Okay? So notice how we have scale together, distance together, but then we also have map on the top, actual distance on the bottom. So then we can solve this as a proportion. So we know that 1 times x would equal 50 times 5.2. And then if we solve it, then it is x equals 260, which would tell us that that means the distance between the two cities is 260 kilometers. Okay, here's another example. One of the models of a dinosaur used in the filming of a movie was only 15 inches tall. In the movie, the dinosaur appeared to have an actual height of 20 feet. What was the scale of the model? Okay, so this time we're not given the scale, and we need to figure out what the scale is between the model and the actual dinosaur. Okay, so the length, so notice how we have, I flipped this around, I'm sorry, but notice how we have the length is matched up, the scale is matched up, and then we have our model dinosaur length and the actual dinosaur length. Okay, so the model is 15 inches and the real dinosaur is 20 feet. Okay, because we're comparing inches and feet, we know that our scale is going to be 1 inch equals however many feet, even though we are not given 1 inch or x feet or whatever. I know we're only given 2 numbers. So we can assume that the scale has to be between inches and feet. So that's how I got this right here. Okay? So then we solve like a proportion. 15 times x equals 20 times 1. And then we get x equals 1 1/3 feet. So that tells us then that the scale is 1 inch equals 1 1/3 feet. So for however many inches the dinosaur is, it is that many 1 1/3 feet tall. So using the same thing, or same example, sorry, we want to find the scale factor. Okay, so this is the scale that would be used between the model and the actual is 1 inch equals 1 1/3 feet. The scale factor then is a little bit more confusing, kind of, but if you think of it, if 1 inch equals 1 1/3 feet, we can set this up. So here's our scale right here, 1 inch over 1 1/3 feet, and we want to know, we want to convert our feet to inches. So we know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So we would multiply 1 1/3 times 12, and we would get 16 inches. So our scale factor is 1/16, which tells us that the dinosaur model is 1/16 the size of the actual dinosaur in the movie. Okay? So the scale, this is our scale, and it's telling us that for every 1 inch on the model, the actual dinosaur in the movie is 1 1/3 feet, just like on our map. Our scale, for every centimeter in the real world, it's 50 kilometers. Okay? Our scale factor is telling us that the model is 1/16 the size of the actual, of the dinosaurs in the film. So if we want to find the scale factor for each of these, well, if 1 inch equals 15 feet, we know that there's 12 feet in an inch. So we can go 1 inch over 15 feet, and we're going to just multiply 15 by 12. And so our scale factor then would be 1 over 180, and I just wrote it like this, 1 to 180. Okay, you can write it either way. 10 centimeters equals 2.5 meters. We know that 100 centimeters are in a meter, so therefore I am going to multiply 2.5 times 100, and we get 250 centimeters. That should be centimeters. And notice that I just left this the same. I left this the same up here as well. So we're only multiplying to convert to the same unit. So 10 centimeters over 250 centimeters, we can simplify this. I should have simplified it to, I'm just going to write it like that, to 1 over 25, because they can both be divided by 10. So 1/25, or the scale factor then would be 1 to 25. Okay? Remember to go on to NAICU and do lesson 410. I know this is kind of a confusing lesson, so you can always go back and reread in the book to help it make a little bit more sense. And then also remember to fill in your vocab sheet for scale drawing, scale model, and scale.